I think they can use some of that beef. And it just kind of ends up, and then I can move Joe Veleno to center, and it just kind of evens out the lines that way. Yeah, and Ras has been tasked with lots. He's been a penalty killer. He spent time on our power play. He's out there a lot of times against other teams' good players, and I think he's done a good job. He's a big body. His skating's improved dramatically, I think, from when he first turned pro. He's playing hard. He's doing lots of good things, so, I think he's going to be a guy whose impact isn't going to be felt just on his offense. It's going to be felt in his overall game. And I think it's continuing to grow.
So what you said, skating is probably the one area from maybe a year or two ago that he's really developed.
Yeah, I think his skating has been one area that's really, really gotten better, and it's shown in his game and the impact in his game. And I'd also say his body, like he's a big body that's had to fill into his frame, and that's not easy. A lot of times those big bodies take a little bit longer, and he's worked really hard in the off season, spent lots of time in Detroit, and I think really built up his body, and his skating's definitely improved. We anticipate Ernie playing tonight.
Thanks for those two. Alex?
Yep, we'll continue with Trevor Thompson.
Blash, without Dylan and Tyler in the lineup, they really drive things and bring the emotion and bring a lot of guys with them most nights. Who would you look to fill that aspect of filling that void here tonight?
I think our whole team. I wouldn't look to one guy. Those are two good players, obviously, in a lot of different realms, but we want to be a hockey team. We don't want to be about one or two guys, and certainly those are huge pieces. But we think that we're going to dress 20 good enough to win tonight. Now we got to go out and execute. We got to go out and play at a high compete level. We got to go out and play at a high work ethic level. We got to go out, make sure we're not giving away easy chances. And if we do those things, then I think you put yourself in position to win a hockey game. So, we've got capable players that'll be dressed for us tonight, and they got to go out and do a good job.
Yesterday, you mentioned they kicked your butt last time. How much does that motivate guys in the room, and how much will that be a theme coming into this one? And thank you.
Well, it should be a reminder, that if we don't play at a high level, if we give away easy chances, if we spend too much time in the box, that that the game can get out of hand the wrong way in this building against this team. And we've had lots of cases of that over the last number of years, and we got to make sure that doesn't happen tonight. We've also had some success, so we got to make sure that we tighten up defensively, but we play with that high compete level and that high work ethic.
Next, we'll go to Helene St. James.
Jeff, without Dylan tonight, without Tyler Bertuzzi, we've talked about the improved depth. How key will that be? And especially, I think something like half your team has goals. It's in a lot better shape than in previous years, where it really was just that first line that was contributing almost all of the offense.
Yeah, correct. I think we have improved our depth. I think, we've worked hard as a coaching staff to make sure we're getting ice time to other lines. And I think the other lines have responded. Other people have responded with good play. We've moved a number of young players into our lineup, and I think they're growing with the added responsibility. So depth matters a ton, and part of that depth might be, Joe Veleno coming in. Can he have a real good game for us? I think Carter Rowney's a guy who's played well over the last, he was a healthy scratch early, and he's played well the last little bit. Can Giovanni Smith chip in offensively, which we know he's capable of doing. So, that's not to speak of a number of other guys. So certainly depth matters. We got to play a great team game to be successful, and we're going to have to play a great team game here tonight.
And so just to be sure, you don't need to call anybody up because Ernie is available. Is that?
We anticipate Ernie being available. If something were to change, we'd have no problem going 11-7.
Okay. And is Dylan, do you expect him to be available in Boston?
Again, I'm not going to comment on that any further than what I did. We'll take everything like we do with everything else day by day.
Thanks.
Yep.
Last question, Max Boltman.
Hey, Jeff, you talked about wanting to defend better. I mean, how have you seen kind of you guys have a young defense core, at least on the right side. I mean, how have you kind of seen them respond over the last day or so since the Toronto game?
No, fine. I don't necessarily think it was, because we were young on D. Certainly we have youth at different spots through the lineup, and there's a learning curve of some of that, but I wouldn't put it on the youth at all. I would just say we got to be tighter. We've played a couple teams that I think are really good offensive teams, 3 in a row, really, in Washington, Florida, and Toronto, that can make you pay, and they can make plays out of not much. And so, if you're not on top of your game defensively, you can give up scoring chances, and we've given up, in my opinion, too many. Last time we were in this building, we gave up more scoring chances than we had up until that point in the season. And so we just got to make sure, and a lot of it's been off the rush. We got to make sure that we're doing a good job being above people, but tight, not giving a lot of space, but being above them, and also, trying to play as much in their end as we can. So I wouldn't certainly pin it on any of the young players in particular. I would just put it as a group.
Okay, and then any clarity on how much longer Gustav Lindstrom will be out?
Is skating today after our skate. He skated a little bit yesterday, so that's 2 days which he skated. Certainly, I don't anticipate him ready for Boston. I'm not sure on the weekend. He's going to have to get into a practice or two before I would be in a position probably to put him in. He's a guy who needs to be skating well to play, and so part of that is being active in a real practice or two.
Thanks, Jeff.
Yep.
Thanks, everyone. We'll be back shortly.